So this morning we're going to take a few minutes and plant one of the raised beds here at the store. We've got a little noise going on in the background. We've got construction going on with the houses, and it looks like they're cutting a new, hey baby, a new road. So I hope it doesn't interfere with us. But I'm only going to take time to do one bed this morning. I have cleaned them out of all the squash and zucchini and cucumbers. And people are on the fence about when you should plant collards and cabbage and kale. I don't usually do broccoli or cauliflower or Brussels sprouts. I like those things, but I don't usually try and plant those. Have done broccoli before in the garden, in the ground at home with an irrigation system, and loved it. But we don't eat that much broccoli. Kenny's not gonna touch any of this stuff much. So I don't go crazy on planting a fall garden. Let's go back, if you've ever taken any of the gardening classes that we do here at the store, or we've had this discussion with customers before, planting it and watching it grow is fun. And I do experiment sometimes because I want to know how things grow instead of just reading about it in the seed catalog or the plant catalog. I want to be able to have conversations with my customers or with my friends about which collard I like best or which cabbage I like best and why. But I try not to go crazy planting things, because planting it is the easy part. Working it and harvesting it and using it is the hard part. And I know that with the fall garden and all the greens, we're not going to eat that much cabbage. We're not going to eat, Kenny's not going to eat cabbage. He will eat collards, and he does like kale, because I cook kale very much almost the exact way I do my collards. And so he will eat those things, so I'll plant those things. But nobody is going to eat broccoli off of, 25 broccoli plants. So I just don't. Those are things that you kind of need to think about when you're planting your fall garden, just like when you're planting your spring garden. It's fun. It's fun to say you grew all these things, but what's the point in growing it if you're not going to consume it, sell it, preserve it, either by freezing it or canning it. And so I try and keep that in mind. It's a lot easier in the fall. But I try and keep that in mind when I'm planting. I have 3 raised beds here that I'm going to put collards, cabbage, kale, and Swiss chard in. At least 2 of them. I don't know if I'll do the 3rd one. I have onion sets in now, and I have a little shallow, much smaller bed that I put my onions in, but I noticed this morning that it needs to be treated for ants. I don't want to treat it and then have to wait that time for all that stuff to go away before I actually plant my onions. So I may do my onions in one of these bigger beds, may just let it sit and rest. I don't know, we'll have to see when we get that far. The soil is still good soil. We topped it off back in the spring, added to it. So I'm not gonna add anything to the layers this fall. I'm gonna use, I can't believe it's chicken manure went in the hole when I plant each of these things. I like to plant my cabbage and my collards about 12, no more than 18 inches apart. It gives them enough room to grow, the bottom leaves to spread out, and shades or covers the soil here so that you don't have to fight the weeds. And so that's what we're gonna do in this bed today. I've got 6 Crystal Vantage cabbage plants, and I've got 6 Tropic Giant cabbage plants. These are different in that the Tropic Giant plant, Tropic Giant cabbage is going to be a medium to large dish. They call it a dish-like head. Could get up to this big. It will be about that thick. They're much easier to cut. They're much easier to chop up when you're making slaw, if you're, frying cabbage or whatever, sauerkraut or whatever you're doing with it. People really like the flat. We used to do the Tropic Giant a few years ago, and then I couldn't get the seeds. We switched over to, the name just left me.
Dutch.
No. Dutch Flat's an old heirloom. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I could get the Tropic Giant again this year, and so we went back with this one. Love this one. Really good cabbage. Makes good fried cabbage. The Crystal Vantage we've done for 3 or 4 years. It's a medium to large round head. I'm planting it a little late for what I like to plant it. I usually like to plant right after Labor Day, but it stayed hot and it's been dry, so I just waited until now. The cabbage will still have time to produce. I'll still get cabbage. I'm okay with it being smaller heads of cabbage because, like I said, I'm going to be the only one to eat it. So, I'm okay with that. Those are also things you need to look at when you're planting your spring garden or your fall garden. Everybody wants that great big huge beautiful head of cabbage, but is there really any point in that if there's only one person in the house that's going to use it? So if I was planting on time, I would have planted the Catarina, which we have at the store, because it's a smaller head, but being this late, and I know I'm not going to let this go until it's a 10-pound head of cabbage. I know the Crystal Vantage is good. It has a good flavor, so I'm going to go with the Crystal Vantage. All things you need to take into consideration when you're planting your garden. I'm going to dig a hole. I'm going to space these. I'm going to dig a hole, put a good handful of my compost down in that hole, take one of these plants out, put it in the hole, then pack it in, water it in real good, and for the next few weeks we'll water them as they need it, which will be every day unless we get some rain. And then I will fertilize it. My choice of fertilizers is Milorganite or a nitro organic that are high in iron. The Milorganite also has an odor that works as a deer repellent. So those are my go-tos. And then we'll just kind of see what happens down here. Just to quickly show you. And yes, for all of you looking at this, I can't believe it's not chicken manure and going, I thought Stout Ollie was your go-to. Stout Ollie is my go-to. I like this just as much as the, I'm not gonna plant that one. I like the chicken compost just as much as the Stout Ollie. I like to use both in my garden. And that's all there is to it, except for this one. We're not going to plant this one. I don't like the way it looks. Plant it, stand it up pretty. I'll come maybe right here-ish, maybe over a little bit. I may have gotten a little too close to the side. Dig another hole, put the compost in there, put the plant in there. Tropic Giant going this way, and the Crystal Vantage going this way. I'm planning on doing that whole bed in collards, and then because I'll share those, I'll give a good many of those away, and then do my kale and Swiss chard down there. Or I can do the kale and Swiss chard in containers because we don't eat as much of the kale and Swiss chard. And do my onions down there. That'll make my daddy happy. He likes onions. So I think that's what we may do. We'll water it every day. Hopefully we're gonna get some rain by the weekend. super easy. All I did was take the pitchfork, a mulch fork actually works better, turn the dirt over to loosen it up. I'll do the same thing to those beds, and we'll have our fall garden planted and growing. So, you know, if you have any questions, if you have any questions, call us, text us, message us, come by and see our garden and watch it grow with us.